Textile Podcast, brought to you by the Bazar, inspiring textpreneur stories.
नमस्ते। आज का हमारा एपिसोड थोड़ा स्पेशल है। ये स्पेशल इसीलिए है क्योंकि हम आपके सामने ला रहे हैं एक ऐसी स्टोरी जो मेरी स्टोरी से काफ़ी सिमिलर है। ये एक ऐसे शख्स के बारे में है जिसने अपना ट्रेडिशनल टेक्सटाइल फैमिली बिजनेस और फैब्रिक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग छोड़कर कुछ नया शुरुआत किया है टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री में। ये एक ऐसे शख्स है जिन्होंने ये गौर किया है कि ग्लोबली एंड इंडिया में सस्टेनेबिलिटी को लेकर काफ़ी अडॉप्शन हो रहा है। ये एक ऐसे शख्स है जो खुद पर्सनली सस्टेनेबिलिटी को लेकर काफ़ी ज़्यादा कॉन्शियस है और ये शख्स मेरे काफ़ी करीबी दोस्त भी है। मैं बात कर रहा हूँ मिस्टर श्रीपत जागीरदार की, हु इज़ द फाउंडर ऑफ वीविंग वाइब्स। वीविंग वाइब्स है एक सस्टेनेबल क्लोथिंग कंपनी जो हेम्प, बैम्बू, बनाना, मिल्क, सोयाबीन और ऐसे काफ़ी सस्टेनेबल यार्न्स और फाइबर्स को लेकर कपड़ा बनाते हैं। तो आइए आज हम बात करेंगे मिस्टर श्रीपत से उनकी टेक्सटाइल जर्नी के बारे में, उन्होंने कैसे अपना फैमिली बिजनेस छोड़ के वीविंग वाइब्स चालू किया और वीविंग वाइब्स क्या है, उनका विजन क्या है और वो किस तरह के कपड़े किन किन लोगों के और क्या क्या एप्लीकेशन के लिए बनाते हैं। Firstly, Shripat, thanks a lot for doing this. It's been a while since we've been discussing this podcast, but finally this is happening.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. Thanks for having me.
So just to start, I think it will be best if you could tell our listeners something about yourself and also about your company, Weaving Vibes.
Firstly, Pratik, thanks for having me. Good morning to you and everyone listening. My name is Shripat Jagirdar. I'm 31 years old and from Bombay basically, and started off with my education in BCom, and then I did a course in textiles from Sasmira College, Woli. And that's how I got into the field of textiles. I was always interested in textiles because my grandfather was an employee of Raymond's for a very long time. And my father also in 88 started Karishma Exports. So there was always textile talks at home since always. So fabrics was something that I was really always interested in. And, with dad being in the business, we would literally have, some weekends that we would spend in the factory, because if people from the textile know that in those days, Friday was the normal norm to keep shut and businesses used to run on Sundays. So when I had school on Fridays, my dad was off, and on Sundays when I was off, he would take me to the factory. So that's where the noise of the loom and all got kind of integrated into my system, and it wasn't noise anymore. So basically that's what my journey has been to the starting to entering of textiles.
So I think both of us are basically born and brought up in textiles.
Yeah,
and I think
actually.
probably that's one reason why we were able to connect very well from the time we first met.
True. And I think it applies for a lot of people. Like, I mean, most of the people that even we know, that we've got to know, are almost all second generation, if not third generation, into textiles. And that just helps in understanding, because there are a lot of when a family business is running, there are a lot of issues when you're in the same house, when you're living in the same house and working under the same roof. So that's a point to connect with a lot of people.
So as far as I understand, you're not part of the family business anymore, which is Karishma Exports, and that's a weaving setup, right? Based out of Bhiwandi.
Yeah. So Karishma Exports.
What made you quit the family business and then start your own journey of Weaving Vibes?
So in 2014, when I joined Karishma Exports, majorly, I wouldn't say the pain point, but the main issues that I felt were only two. One was credit, where essentially any manufacturer does, we anyways take loan from the bank to put up the factory, and then you buy raw materials on 100% advance, and everything post that, your payments and everything is on credit basis, which is an approximate 60 to 90 days. So it really stresses you out financially to continue running, and that was something that I wasn't too comfortable with from the beginning. Not even from the beginning, from like college days when I got to know only what is happening. But as many parents would say, that this is the norm of the business, this is how it runs, this is the nature of the business, it works in this way. But I was always on the lookout for, you know to changing this, to meeting halfway somewhere in terms of primarily credit, which kind of led me to find another product. So the first point was credit. Second is operations. I didn't really enjoy the way, yarn to weaving, weaving to yarn dyeing. I'm sorry, yarn dyeing to weaving, weaving to processing. The entire chain doesn't really work, smoothly and with a lot of transparency. So that was another point that I felt, if things were more transparent, it would be easy to convey a lot of timelines and prices to the final customer.
I think the issue is
Yeah,
the lack of transparency does not allow us to offer a great customer experience, to our buyers. Because a lot of
definitely.
times we
And
are also minded, if shows a slight delay at the processing level, can kind of, delay the entire journey for the buyer.
you're right. And the problem isn't in the delay. Delay is acceptable to an extent because it's manufacturing. Delays do happen. But the transparency I'm talking about is the message in conveying that the delay is going to happen.
Right.
The industry norm is कि 2 दिन में हो जाएगा, 2 दिन में हो जाएगा. 2 days कर करके they pull 10 days. Now that is the issue. If it's going to take 10 days, tell me 10 days. So I can tell my buyer 10 days. So there are so many lags, and I would call this kind of, habits that people have formed in the industry. It's kind of an habitual thing to, always say 2 minute में phone करता हूँ when you gonna call the next day, और
No,
2 दिन में
absolutely
माल
agree with
भेजता हूँ.
you.
Correct. So these are the things that I feel, if we change in our system, then globally we can demand and stand at a better, with a straighter back. It's just
For
because of
sure.
these things that the trust issue comes into play. That, oh, we don't trust this mill anymore because he says something and delivers on some other date. Whereas it's not your issue; it's issues around you. I mean, if you had to see the textile sector, there are a lot of small SMEs and medium scale industries that are doing a lot of work. These are the main industries that are not organized in terms of operations, communication. If that straightens out, if there is a kind of a teaching or a method that every business owner, a standardized method that every business owner puts, that this is the way you report and this is the way every process above you and below you reports to you, then life will get easier for everyone in that chain, not only the owner but people working as well. No one wants to get a call 10 times a day and be like, you said 2 hours back. Everyone wants to work in an easy manner. So the problem we are only creating for ourselves is what I feel. So that is another thing that I felt needs attention. And the best place to start is at home, right? So I just thought that we need in my company to tighten communication, to make it smoother, to make it more transparent between all my departments as well. So in everyone's company also there are a lot of lapses. The yarn guy is telling the production guy yarn is coming in 2 days, the warper is ready with the beam, but the yarn doesn't come, and that guy knew it's not going to come, and everything gets held up, and eventually the loom is empty for 2 days, and you lost 2000 meters worth of 600 meters worth of production for that day.
Right.
So these kind of lapses is something that I started straightening out from 2015. I thought I'll do it in 6 months. I'm still straightening it out. So I just feel it's like every day there's something new happening. Every day there are new kind of ways we are finding out to work. So we just have to keep updating ourselves. And there are, we cannot stop updating. There's no stage where mere ko sab aata hai, now I don't need to learn anymore. So that
Right.
is also a major problem where people feel like, 30 years I've been in the industry. I mean, I can talk for my father himself. He feels, I've been here 30 years, I've built XYZ. So what I have done in the past is right. So you follow this. But times are changing. So every day there's a new way to sell. We didn't have Amazon 15 or 10 years back to sell. And 30 years back, my father would literally physically go to people, meet and sell. He didn't have, like couriers which would reach in a day and stuff. So every day things are changing. Methods of marketing, methods of selling, methods of receiving money, IMPS, RTGS. Well, I don't think it was there 20 years back. But
Right.
today it's all instant. So we just feel like everyone should change right now. It's time to change. You cannot stay in your old ways, otherwise you'll just drown.
I'm glad you said this statement. That's our tagline. It's time to change.
Yeah, it is time to change.
So we've got an understanding of why you decided to quit the family business, but help us understand how the concept and the idea of weaving vibes came in and why weaving vibes.
Yeah, so basically during the time of 2014 to 2019, I since I was in this industry where we were manufacturing a lot of PV, PC, Catonics, and all these fancy fabrics, I started realizing the end, not result, but the end location of these fabrics was basically you would get incinerated or it would get, land up in a landfill. And this kind of, with the global warming and everything that we are aware of, and with knowing that the fashion industry itself produces more than 8% of greenhouse gases and like 20% global wastewater annually. So these kind of things, I felt ki if I am going to do something new, I need to do something new that is going to impact and help the environment, the planet, nature in a way. I don't want to do something which is going to be, harmful not to me but to the future generation. So that's where sustainability came into mind. And I remember in 2018 or 19 there was a whole wave of, ban plastic, where I think it started with these plastic bags. We started getting, banned in shops, and then with straws. So that's when I realized there has to be an alternative to fabric as well. And that's when I bumped into hemp, and that gave birth to Weaving Vibes. So Weaving Vibes is essentially a made to order manufacturing facility for only and only sustainable, 100% biodegradable, eco-friendly fabrics.
Okay. And I think
That's
it'll be
it.
good to say that
So
it's more of a mission driven company, right? It's not just, of course,
it,
it's a business, so profit has to
no,
be
no,
there.
it's a 100% mission driven company. The idea of bringing about Weaving Vibes, if there were 10 reasons, the last reason was profitability. The first 9 reasons would be all related to nature, planet, and basically my passion. So, me
Right.
personally, I am a very spiritual guy. And, if you meet anyone who is related to spirituality, they are sustainable in a way. Like spirituality and sustainability, kind of sustainability is embedded in spirituality. So, it was just a natural thing for me to do, to be honest. It wasn't something I had to work on or convince myself, or kind of actually find a new business. This was a natural thing that came to me. And when I read all the benefits of the fabric, and as I started doing my research and all, I understood that I am still on the tip of the iceberg of sustainable fabrics even today, after 2 years. So I feel there is immense amount of possibilities. And not only for fabrics, but I just feel every human should be aware of sustainable living in general, because that is what eventually we have to uh, move towards.
I know how passionate you have been towards sustainability and, with respect to weaving vibes. I mean, I have seen you from the time you decided to quit your family business, decided to start weaving vibes. We've been in touch during those phases as well. And having gone through that journey it's extremely challenging moving out of your family business, because you're having certain responsibilities which you're undertaking on a daily basis. It's not easy to start up something because there's a lot of patience and persistence required, and I think you've done a great job there.
Yeah,
Yes, just to take it a little forward, if you could help us understand the different products you do, more about your platform.
correct. So before I get to that, it's just that basically it's like you with Yarn Bazaar, when it's just something that when you have a passion for something, when you really believe in it, it's just a matter of time till you see the market acceptance in that.
Right.
It's just a matter of time. So it's just that key, you need to believe in whatever you do 100%, and that's it. And that's what's going to keep you happy. It does well or it fails. It's just that every morning you wake up, you're doing something you love, something you believe in, and you sleep doing that. And that to me is basically is happiness. Anyways, now getting
Right.
back to my the products we do and the platform. So basically, like I said, we are a made to order manufacturing unit. By made to order, I mean is we tell the customer what is the fabric they require and what is the application they require for, and then we work backwards into manufacturing the exact fabric for the exact application that they require. So,
Okay.
in terms of products, we definitely do 100% hemp, which is our main product. And we do a lot of hemp blends. By blends, I mean hemp into cotton, hemp into bamboo, hemp tencel, hemp lyocell, hemp banana, hemp milk, and the list goes on. You can customize, you can add as many blends as you want, as many different weaves. We also do self dobby weaves, so you can have that. And for dyeing, we work with Pantone shades, so whatever color you want, we just need the TCX code number for that. And for uh, for the B2B business, so there are two parts in weaving vibes. There's a B2B and a B2C. The B2B is the made to order business that I just described, where MOQs start at 2,000 meters per color. But we also have a B2C platform where weavingvibes.com comes in, which is an e-commerce platform, basically a platform catering to smaller requirements. By smaller requirements, I mean no MOQ. You can buy as low as a meter and as high as 500 meters. This is basically for all small young entrepreneurs coming up, launching their businesses, or like just stylists and designers trying to try out some new fabric, trying to experiment with fabrics, because we offer a lot of RFD fabrics, which can be eco dyed and eco printed and tie dyed, and there's a lot of additional kind of work that can be done on the fabric, a lot of attributes that can be added to the fabric post manufacturing. And we got a lot of feedback of people who wanted smaller quantities, but definitely as a manufacturer we have restrictions in the quantity we can produce. So weavingvibes.com is essentially a platform where anyone and everyone who wants to test the fabric, wants to try out the fabric, wants just to make a shirt for themselves, can get onto the website. It has more than 35 products, as well as a swatch book of the entire list. So these are basically the two platforms, and the idea of Weaving Vibes is not is to be available for everyone. So we are as you mentioned, passion, definitely passion, but passion for innovation. That's what our main passion is. So we are heavy into research and development. Every 60 days, we are coming up with at least three new blends, and our entire focus is on giving maximum amount of possibilities in terms of sustainable fabrics in the market.
So help me understand this. How is it that a traditional weaving setup, someone who has a fabric manufacturing unit where MOQs are usually, min 1500 to 5000 meters. How are you able to entertain orders which are 1 meter, 2 meter? This is crazy, because I mean I understand where you're coming from. It really helps someone to try out what a hemp fabric is, or what a hemp blended fabric is. Once 1 meter, 2 meter, make a shot out of it and see the feel of it before they start, to buy these products more often. So it's a great value proposition there, but I'm sure it'll be very challenging, managing operations for that.
It is. It's like people calling me, and when I give these options, and I tell them, they're like, "Sir, we want 50% hemp, 25% bamboo, 25% banana, 5 meters." Then the other guy will call, "Sir, I want the same thing, but add 25%, reduce 25% hemp and add 25% cotton. Give me 10 meters." So these are the things we have to do, because this is why Weaving Vibes was created. Like, we work with a lot of NIFT graduates also that come out, looking at for these innovations. So all these graduates are between the age of, like, 20 to 22. They are not going to give me 1,000 meter beam length. They cannot give me 1,500 meter beam length, because that goes up to 10, 12 lakh rupees. They all want 5 meters, and for them bulk is 50 meters. So they are never going to scale up to that level that fast. But the intention is to support these people, because there is no one else. Now, how I do it, that is a trade secret. If I tell you that, everyone is going to sit and do that. But there are ways around everything. Like you had shared that Naval Ravikant said it very well. Every solution is designed in the problem. So, how to give 5 meters to someone, how to dye it in their color and give it to them, there are ways out of it. And that's what we are doing. And that's why we have such great sales over the website, is because, like, I believe that today the guy who's taking 5 will take 50, tomorrow will take 100, 500, and 1,000. Now, my intention and my reason, like, I am a startup, were a startup. In those terms, there are many other startups coming up in the home deco, in the apparel, in the luggage industry. They all want to play with sustainable fabrics. Now, where do these people get fabrics from? Who do they go to? Where are the options to get these fabrics? So that's where I come into the picture. And the more advantage of me is that they love it that we are a manufacturer. So they feel that, oh, yes, we're getting it straight from the manufacturer. So, we are much more comfortable in dealing with that. And we have worked out a way how to give everyone every, inch of fabric they require in their quantity itself.
So I think it is this strength of Weaving Vibes that has allowed you to not just work with consumers or different businesses, but also some of the leading designers in the country.
Correct.
If you could quickly spend like a minute or so, talking about some of the designers you worked with, as also, if I'm not mistaken, I think you were associated with the Rajasthan Royals IPL team as well, right?
Correct. So the whole thing with this fabric, that's why, I mean, I don't want to say the answer now, but the future fill in the blanks question, the answer would be magical. Because when I was working in the textile industry, I was literally frustrated in the first 3 years, and I felt like it's like a dead industry. Because anyone who's listening and is, a weaver or a finished fabric seller, you understand that there is a point to which you can earn money. There, the buyers dictate literally your margin, because your books are open. They know where the yarn is coming from, at what rate the yarn is coming from, what is the wastage, weaving charge, blah 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 blah. So it was pretty frustrating. Now when we come to Weaving Vibes, where we are literally creating fabric, where we are creating new weaves, new, you know colors, new kinds of prints. Like, we do a lot of eco printing also on fabric with leaves and tree branches, and the possibilities are endless in this. So me myself, I also don't know where the path is going to lead me to. It's like I'm just walking still in the forest and collecting as many fruits I can because I'm hungry. So to name some of the designers and some of the brands we worked with, we've definitely highlighted all of that on our website and our Instagram. But I'll name some of the surprising people we have got in touch with. So one of the people is Rajasthan Royals, where we did their board of directors for their auction for the players. The entire board of directors, around 7 or 8 of them, were wearing two-piece hemp suits, 100% hemp, hand dyed, eco dyed. suits, and we are also repeating it this year for them in the following 2022. So that was completely out of the box, but that again is a very niche kind of an order where they wanted a specific GSM of fabric. They wanted their basically pink and blue, their logo colors in that, and they also wanted those colors using natural dyes. They did not want to use anything, everything had to be azo free, and it had to be stitched perfectly to their sizes. So these kind of orders is what Weaving Wives specializes in. So we are recently doing, I wouldn't want to name the client right now because we're not yet delivered, but we're doing a lot of prints, block prints for them currently. And this is she's a very famous designer in India, and she's doing it for curtains. So essentially we are an apparel manufacturing company. So the the new people that we are supplying fabric to, the not new people, the people that are out of the box that we did not think of catering to, is what we are working with now. There's also a watch brand called Swatch that we supplied hem fabric to for their watch straps. Now that was something completely out of the box that we never thought we could get, even think of making fabric for that. But this is where hemp comes in, and this is where sustainable fabrics come in, is where the entire, all the brands are moving towards sustainability now because they know it's not going to be an option in the future, where the world is moving in a very negative manner towards nature, where if now we don't adopt, the only thing we won't have an option to adopt. We have to accept the natural sustainable living. And by sustainable living, it's basically a lifestyle. So Weaving Vibes wants, main idea is to create a lifestyle, a sustainable lifestyle that basically attempts to reduce an individual or society's use of the earth's natural resources. So how it's called net zero living or earth harmony living. So
Right.
that is the main aim of this fabric of Weaving Vibes, is to build awareness that it doesn't only stop at apparels. You can live in a better sustainable way. So the brands that we are associating with are all brands that we are carefully looking at, that they also have a similar vision in path.
Okay. So that leads us to our next question, which is, as you've already spoken, that you're not Weaving Vibes is not just a shirting fabric. What
Correct.
are the different industries that you're catering to?
Correct. So we are catering to around 3 to 4 industries, but I wouldn't want to stop it at that because, like I said, the possibilities are endless. So right now, the main industries that we're catering to obviously is the apparels. In apparels, I mean for women's dresses, skirts, bottom pants, shirts, jackets, denims, everything that comes under apparels. Then the second industry that we supply to is the luggage industry, where we supply, higher GSM fabric ranging from 180 to up to 340 for pouches and school bags and grocery bags, shopping bags, etc. Then the third industry is the home deco industry, which the home decor industry is a very, very exciting industry. It is something that we randomly stumbled into, where we're supplying fabrics for bed sheets, for pillow covers, for cushion covers, for curtains, like I mentioned, even some for sofa covers, then table linens, table runners, table mats, napkins, and it's endless. We also did supply fabric to Mexico for the upper layer of the shoe. So these guys used a pineapple base for the shoe, and the upper layer of the shoe was our canvas 100% hemp fabric. So these are basically 4 of the industries that we are supplying to. We're also, looking into automobiles for the trims and, the car covers and, many other kind of seats and everything else that can be used that where woven fabric has application basically.
Okay. I think that's a pretty wide market to cater to. I've seen some of your pillow covers and especially the kurtas you wear. I think the kurtas look very, very dapper.
Thank you, thank you. So that's what I said. Like it's the industries are endless. It's just basically you can think of where woven fabric is being used today and replace it with sustainable fabric. It's basically that. That's
Right.
how we look at it. That's how we are approaching it. We are not approaching it only as a shirting or only as a bottom wear or only as an apparel manufacturer. We are looking at it in a holistic way, as where is woven fabric needed, or where is woven fabric used today, where is mainly polyester or pc used that we can replace with sustainable fabric.
Right. And what is it that you do differently compared to your other companies in your market? I mean, what is your competitive advantage?
We listen, we listen to the customers, that's it. So like circling back to the main question is, you're like, it's difficult to give 5 meters and 10 meters. Yeah, it's difficult, but that's what they want, that's what they need right now. You have say 200, 300 companies wanting hemp fabric, but you have 2000 young entrepreneurs wanting hemp fabric, and there's no one to supply them. Today, you go to Bandra, you go to your Thakur Fabrics, Saroj Fabrics, VFab Glance. None of them have these fabrics. They should be having these fabrics because that is the only place, right? The market is the only place where you can get these fabrics. Where do you think all the designers and boutiques and all source their fabrics from? They don't go to manufacturers because they don't have those MOQs. They have to go to local, retail shops, right? So now those retail shops should, right now, whoever's listening in retail, it is your responsibility also to take up these sustainable fabrics and, grow awareness of these fabrics as well. So anyone wants to get in touch from retail, I'm here. But it has to be a collective kind of an effort. So I would say the only competitive advantage, other than we being made to order and being able to do smaller MOQs, is just basic, is that we listen to what you want and we work in 100% capacity of ours to deliver what you want. That's it.
I think that's a great statement. We listen. I think very short placement, but highly impactful.
Correct, we listen, like you
So,
listen.
Shripat, we spoke earlier regarding, one of the problems that you faced as part of your family business, which is, how the industry is structured, which is the payment terms and the high credits. When it comes to
Correct.
weaving wives, what are your business terms and conditions?
Yes. So when I started out weaving wives, I had this discussion with you, I think, a year back as well. And my intention to start weaving wives, or to start any business for that sake, was that I will charge 100% advance payment. So when I started weaving wives, I started it with the same principle that I am not going to get into, the web of giving credit again, because frankly, you or no one in the yarn business does give credit. So I wanted to be that change from the weaver's side, to say that, boss, even we will not give on credit. Why should we give on credit? Let's change and let's all work in 100% advance. It just benefits everyone. It benefits the business and it benefits the market, you know, as well. So with weaving wives, it is 100% advance payment against the performer invoice, and fabric is delivered in 30 to 35 days.
Okay.
So this was a very difficult kind of a move. It was like a major challenge, I would say, because even internally, internally, I mean, with my, in house with my father, because he's also selling fabrics and he's like, boss, I've never heard of this, and this is not going to
Mhm.
work. So let me just advise you. It's similar to what he told you when you came for Yarn Bazaar, like when you were starting
Yes.
out. Like, this guy is crazy. What is he talking about on an app and all this? Who's going to sit, watch rates? Who's going to WhatsApp? Business is not done like this and XYZ. And I said, boss, he's going to get it done and he's going to do it. And today you've done it and you're doing so well. So it is something like that. Like seeing you actually, to tell you today, seeing you, mere mein thoda dam aaya ki nahi bhai, this guy can do it, I can do it. And luckily, I had like a platform where agar dhanda nahi chala, it's fine, because I kind of had another kind of business that was running. So I wasn't, so that's where I could put my chest out and be like, no, you want to give me 100% advance, then only I'm selling fabric. Might be 1 meter, 1,000 meters, or 10,000 meters. My principle stays the same. You want it, take it. You don't want it, don't take it. So that, because of my father's help and all, I could do that. And believe me, I mean, I may have 10 customers come to me and only two stay, but I'm very happy with those two. And I feel if more people join me in this, that two will become three, will become four, and everyone will benefit from this eventually. Because if you see it logically, if any viewer listening or any person listening sees it logically, just understand, we put up a factory, a minimum factory of 20-30 crores. No one has that money lying in their pockets. We all take loan from the bank. We are paying interest to them. Then we buy 100% advance. When we take an order, we buy the raw material, which is yarn, at 100% advance. That guy sends us the yarn in 2-3 days. We take 45 to 60 days to convert it to fabric. Already 60 days have gone. After that, when we supply the fabric to the buyer pays us, supposed to pay us in 60 days. By koi deta nahi hai 60 din mein. They pay in 100 days. So 100 plus 60 days, 160 days. My money is stuck for 160 days. Now I cannot go to the bank and say, boss, you wait for your EMIs. Mera paisa aega tab mein dega. I have to keep giving. So this system now, this business is actually not letting the weaving industry grow only, is what I feel. And I feel somewhere someone has to change. Someone has to demand. If it works, it works. Doesn't work, doesn't work. But someone has to demand this, and that's when people will also start following up and coming in. Someone has to start suit, and that's what I have done. We have had sales of more than around 3 to 4 lakh meters in just in the past like 8 to 10 months, all 100% advance. And 90%, 99% is all exports. I don't even open LC or anything. It's straight my Swift bank account code. You transfer the money, then I call Pratik, then I book the yarn, then the yarn comes, then I start all my business. So
I
this
think that's
also
great.
only works is also because, when we say we are going to give you great quality, and when we say we're going to deliver on a date, we do give great quality and we do deliver on the date. That's why that person has nothing back to say to us in terms of payment. So as long as we keep our product A1 and give it on the perfect time, I believe you can demand what you want. It is your right to demand. It is your business. It is your money. If you don't demand, who's going to demand?
Help me understand the current scenario of sustainable textile market in India and how you would compare it with, say, other Western or other developed countries.
So it's basically, instead of sustainable textile, just if you talk about sustainability in general, or just sustainable living in general, it is, you notice that the European, especially the Scandinavian countries, and even Australia, especially New Zealand and all, they're much more aware. In India, segregation of garbage came when? A year back? Not even a year back. 3-4 years back, I think. This was a system that probably was going on since 30, 40 years in Norway, in Sweden, in London and elsewhere. So basically, sustainability, the concept of sustainable living is taking time in India. So today, if you are a fabric seller, since we're talking about fabrics, and you're used to buying 100 and 150 rupee fabric, and then you go to organic cotton, which is a little more expensive, but you stretch your pocket and you're like, no, it's organic, so it's 160. But then I come with hemp, which is 400, 500 rupees a meter. Your mind gets out of the sustainability quotient and gets into the price quotient immediately.
Correct.
Sustainability, if I can say for the bigger word, भाड़ में जाता है at that moment. That moment comes in कि कपड़े में क्या हीरा क्या लगा है कि 500 रुपया लगता है. So they don't understand कि the 500 rupee cost is कि today the shopping bag, like the grocery bags we make, we say कि you buy a grocery bag today, your future generation will be using the same 100% hemp grocery bag that we give you, compared to the one you buy at DMart or Nature's Basket or all these places, which is 100% polyester. So we are saying you're paying 300 rupees more, but see, you're using it for a really longer time and saving the environment. That cost you're not seeing right now. Because of this fast fashion, no one understands, the basic concept of longevity, of using. Like, I'm sure you're aware that textiles and garments are a major contributor to pollution in our environment. This, bro, is largely only due to fast fashion, which, as you know, comprises mostly of non-organic fabrics, which like take 100 to 200 years to biodegrade. And even then, I think they burn it at the end of it, you know. So this awareness and all, when it comes into people, then price will go away. And that's where you see the European markets who have this understanding already. They are already in acceptance of this. So for them, price comes secondary. First, it is ki boss, are you certifying? Are you giving me 100% hemp? Yes, you are. Is your quality great? Yes, it is. Okay, what is the price? Compared to what is the price first? No, we don't care about what you put blend wend in the fabric. Price कितना है? 400 रुपया मत निकलो इधर से खत्म. We don't care what it is. Saving 100 trees or 500 trees, we don't care. So that attitude has to change, which is changing in the last 6 months.
Do
I
you think COVID was able
probably
to accelerate this process?
definitely 1,000%, bro. My company Weaving Vibes is a COVID product.
It's a
It was
COVID
just
baby.
born before COVID. Yeah, it's a COVID. Like, I mean, obviously, inception was before COVID, but sales started in COVID, and sales picked up huge in COVID and have only been increasing. And I am seeing this entire sustainable. Today we have H&M, which released around 20,000 garments in CBD based hemp garments. They got sold out in 3 days. So now these companies are also doing small trials everywhere. They did this trial in Sweden. They did it with a company called Agra Loop, which develops these yarns that we are also working with. So these are small kind of trials these big companies are taking to test the market right now. For example, if you go to the flagship store of Raymond, in that store they have, I think, around, if I'm not mistaken, 800 to 850 types of fabrics in their flagship, the flagship store na, at Breach Candy, Raymond ka,
Yes, yes.
opposite Breach Candy Club. Huh. So there, if you go, they have the most. So there now they have hemp fabric and hemp blends.
Okay.
So, but if you go to the other vendors and this that, they don't have it. The only reason they don't have it, like if you come to Mulund and all Thana, because they know इधर कोई 500 रुपया 600 रुपया 700 रुपया देने नहीं वाला है ये कपड़े का. But in that Breach Candy Raymond, you go, you'll find 25,000 rupee ka suit material as well. Full high end. So the reason is that people right now, firstly, there are two things. One is it is expensive. I understand everything sustainable is expensive. The reason is expensive that it is not grown in that amount we require. So it is very scarce. Anything that is scarce and the demand is large is obviously going to be expensive. That is common sense. When India legalizes, like today, Uttarakhand is legalized to cultivate industrial hemp, right? Now,
Hmm.
Uttarakhand is very small. Uttarakhand, even if the entire Uttarakhand starts cultivating hemp, there are probably only 40 factories in Bhiwandi that will run with that yarn. So we probably need the entire north to get into cultivation, the entire Himachal, the entire north, the entire, the northern region. That's when the prices will start dropping. Now the whole world is basically dependent on one country only for hemp. You know which it is the
Hmm.
COVID country, the country that gave us COVID, that gave birth to coronavirus, China. Those guys are doing it. Now I'll tell you another insider thing. Since the last 3 months, China is not selling fibers only to anyone. Today, if Yan Bazar calls them and says, "What is the price?" and they're saying, "No, $22 for the fiber." Yan Bazar, like, "Boss, I'll give you $30." They're like, "No, we're not going to sell." Because these people have understood right now with the boom in hemp that they are basically they are the biggest cultivators of hemp. Now they want their conversion to increase. So they are saying, why you want fiber? You buy yarn from us. We'll sell you yarn. We won't sell you fiber. Arey, but we want fiber because we want to make our own yarn. We want to blend it on our own. So these kind of issues and the one China policy, so they are also angry, and there are too many things happening. So because of which the prices like cotton, even in hemp, are increasing weekly.
Right.
So that is why.
Just a few days back, I had a meeting with owner of Trident and Delzad, one of the founders of Boheco Bombay Hemp Company. But
Uh,
Delzad was also, speaking about the same issue that China is not selling fibers anymore. Uh, their statement is you either buy yarn or fabric or garment from us, but we're not going to sell you our raw materials.
Correct, correct. It's because they have understood where their resources lie. Like today, if today we as India, if we are cultivating a lot of cotton and we are earning good money in converting our own cotton into yarn or into fabric and exporting fabric, then we would rather stick to that. Why would we want to export only cotton, like raw cotton, and let out the other? See, as you move up in that chain, the profit margin keeps increasing. That even so the
Hmm.
profit margin in selling fiber is less compared to in selling yarn. Is and yarn is less than fabric, and in fabric is less than garment, and it keeps going on. So in that chain, now that China has realized that other people are not, haven't got the knack of growing the right crop. Now, in growing the crop, like you mentioned, Delzad, we had a talk with him. There is such scientific kind of measurements and knowledge that is needed to grow this crop. How much the length should be, what distance should be between each crop, how much sunlight, how much water, what side of the mountain, how much sun it will get, what is the temperature going to be. There's so much going on that we are little backward in that, and China has understood that. So China is little holding back. I will not be surprised, honestly, to tell you, if tomorrow China says we're not even giving yarn, you only buy fabric from us. यान का वैसे भी करोगे क्या, कपड़ा ही तो बनाओगे, तो कपड़ा ही ले लो. It's very possible for them to turn around and do this. They are
Right.
communists and no one to stop them. So that is the only reason why right now we are facing a big issue. Why right now I am taking orders. I took orders in the month of November for delivery of fabric in the month of April. Now that is
Oh,
only
wow.
because I'm getting yarn only in the month of end of Jan or first week of Feb is what they are saying. Now, by the time I get that and I convert it to fabric, finish it, get it, everything, it'll be April by the time I send it. But still, there are companies that have paid me in the month of November saying that, okay, supply us fabric 5 months later, but please book it. And that's how I booked the yarn. So people are desperate for this fabric. People want it. And that is what China is foolishly taking advantage of. And that's why they're restricting. Today, if India is calling for 50 tons of fiber a month, was calling. Now, today, they are calling for 500 tons of fiber a month. So, China's like, boss, you take yarn only, na? I know what you're doing with fiber. And if you want any blend, we'll make it and give it to you, which shouldn't be the norm. Business is lena hai to dena chahiye. But now they're acting tough. That is why everything is getting delayed. And you see, any company in India other than Bohiko, all the other companies are importing yarn. Bohiko is still importing fiber and spinning its own, making its own yarn, which is a step closer. Now they are also planning to go even a step closer, which is eventually, cultivating your own crop, which is the dream. Like Weaving Vibes' dream is also farm to fashion, but it's a dream that will probably start happening in 25, not today.
So, since we're talking about these kind of challenges, let's talk about your journey coming from a textiles family background. What was
Major challenges I have faced. So major challenge was actually anyone coming from a textile family background. Major challenge is your family only, because
okay?
like I said, people are embedded and they have certain principles. See, it's like, again, coming back, I don't know why I keep thinking about him, but that Naval Ravikant had that talk with Gaurav Gupta where he
Mhm.
talks about prescriptions. Do you remember that talk?
I don't think I've seen this one.
So basically he talks about, just answering this question, is what my father gives me or any father gives their son or anyone in business gives anyone is prescriptions. Prescriptions are basically how to's. How to,
Okay.
say tomorrow Shripat wants to run the factory really well. So the father will give you how to's, how to run it well. Those how to's have come out because of his experience and his knowledge. Now, if I have to run according to his prescription, I am going to fail because his prescription is based on his time, which has changed. Those how to's don't work today. So, today, the main challenge is to convince him and to tell him that these ideas that you have कि this is the way the business goes, credit तो देना ही पड़ेगा तेरे को, advance यान के लिए देना ही पड़ेगा, ऐसे रहता ही है. I said these are things, अगर रहता था तो change होना चाहिए, change होगा. Where were people making shoes before from plastic bags and plastic
Right.
bottles? They weren't. But we have someone doing that and he's killing it. So every day something is going to change, and every day someone new is going to come up with something new. So the basic challenge from a family background is basically convincing your family that it's time to change. It's the same thing with you when you also came to factory and you spoke to my dad that this is my plan, this is how we're going to execute the yarn bazaar, and this is what we're planning to do. And he's like, boss, this ain't going to work. This is not how the business works. This is not how the yarn market works. This is not how mills operate. Then times changed, and me and you knew in our heart, ki boss, this is going to work. And you met a lot of Sridharjis like my father who might have told you, ki boss, you're crazy. What are you doing? But today, when you probably call them and tell them, I want to, do a podcast with you, they were like, yeah, boss, come, come, come. And they're not going to tell you, no, I said you're wrong. They're going to tell you, bhai, मैंने तेरे को बोला था, तू मस्त सही जा रहा है. You're doing good, because every time you turn around something and prove them wrong, that time the naysayers just vanish. But when you're trying to do something new, you will find one guy telling you, ki, yeah, bro, you're right. You go ahead. And then the rest of them are going to tell you no for various reasons. Either they don't believe in it, or they're jealous, or they have tried it and failed, or whatever reason might be. But there'll always be a reason ki you don't do it.
I think it's what people say. Change is the only constant. You can't escape from it.
You can't escape from it. Change is constant, and it is on you to change. You don't have to change with change. Like there are changes happening in the world. You don't have to be like that, sheep, and just follow changes happening. The idea of change is that you change according to what you believe should be the change,
Yeah,
not
there's a
change
great
because
saying.
society is telling you ki change, change for this reason or that reason.
Yes, there's a great saying. The only way to predict the future is to create it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is so true, right? The only way to predict the future is to create it, and that's when
Exactly.
creation starts in the mind. So it's all in the mind. If you've thought it and it's worked out in your head, then it's just a matter of execution, and it's just a matter of people also changing it in their mind. Who thought, bro? I remember clearly when Paytm had come, my father's like, you're crazy. How are you going to transfer money like this? What are you doing? It doesn't work like this. But now everyone lives off, something like Paytm. Literally lives off. I have only cards in my wallet, barely any cash, and like my phone.
Same here. Yesterday, I looked at my
Yeah.
wallet
So
and I had 10 rupees in it.
correct.
Like just a
So
10 rupee
I'm
note.
telling you, we also are planning because, like you mentioned of Trident, there are only two or three companies that actually have wet processing units that can give out good quality hemp hemp. So
Hmm.
right now Weaving Vibes is also in talks to open up, with one two people, a good grade spinning mill, a wet processing spinning mill, basically and only dedicated for hemp and hemp blends only. Because
Wow.
like everyone mentioned, definitely fiber is an issue, but fiber is an issue today that we see will get cleared tomorrow. But when fibers do get cleared tomorrow, we still require around 9 to 9.5 lakh spindles, for all these bast fibers. We have only barely 1,10,000. So there is definitely a need for more spinning mills to come out in the wet processing area, so that when and if and wherever we do source fibers from, we are ready to process it in its optimum level and quality.
So
So
wait,
if you
hold on
talk
there.
also to Delta, they have a lot of restrictions in the counts they can reach or in the quality they can reach. It's all because of the processes, because the retting, the rowing. There's so many pre-processes that are involved in hemp, which are not involved in, say, flax, for example, for linen. So an
Right.
essential linen spinning mill will not have all those pre-processes which are needed for a hemp spinning mill. So today, even Trident or whichever company, I don't know if they have all of those pre-processes that are required to separate, all the dirty fibers and all the, there are a lot of 3, 4 processes that are required in this. So there needs to be a proper dedicated plant only for this. Now, where we in China, the 3, 4 companies that are leading in this, they're 100% dedicated only for hemp. They've been doing it for 20 years. So they have got that proper knack in how, like 60s count they're manufacturing, you know, 60 nm, I mean, not 60s
Mhm.
NE. But
Right.
that is fine. That's like 100 Lee in apna linen. So that's fine count. Here in India, we cannot cross 20s and 24s. That also in blends, forget 100% in blends. And in blends also, we are only able to reach 30% hemp. Now, in export, people say people require at least 50% of hemp fibers in any blend you give them. The rest, what you do is different. Now, we are not able to manufacture that level of, hemp yarn right now, but I 100% believe that in another 2, 3 years, our industrial hemp growing in terms of agriculture will increase a lot, which will lead to great amount of Indian fibers that we'll get. And then everything will start converting to great. Then we'll have 100% Indian hemp, and then the dream of farm to fashion for India will actually come into play.
So hold on there. So Weaving Vibes is into manufacturing of sustainable fabrics, and as far as I know, it's not just sustainable; it's antimicrobial, it's longer life. But it's not just
Correct.
manufacturing of fabrics. Now it's also going to be at some point a spinning ecosystem where you're having a wet processing unit for the entire processing of hemp fiber to yarn.
Correct. So what we are planning to do is, instead of going forward, by forward I mean in terms of processing and garmenting, we actually want to go a little backward into spinning, because that's where we feel is the main work that is going to be needed in the future, is where the main technicality of the eventual garment or the fiber is fabric is played at the spinning level.
Right. And I think there's more, right? So it's not just this, because you understand the importance of awareness towards sustainability, and because you understand the importance of creating this awareness, different format where this it would help you create that awareness and get people to understand what different products they can use, not just in terms of fashion, but also products they can consume, products they can use, like skincare brands XYZ, and creating a kind of an
Correct. So what
ecosystem or a community there. Like, can we talk about that a little?
Yeah, we sure can. We can talk about anything you like. So, in that is something that is very interesting. That is something where, where my heart actually lies right now, is that in these 2, 3 years, we, when I say we, I'm not saying weaving wise, but we as a hemp, as sustainable lovers or sustainable living enthusiasts, we found out that there's a big, I would say, unorganized or scattered sector community of all these people who want to live sustainable. So it might be manufacturers like me who are making something sustainable, it might be buyers and consumers like you who want to use sustainable, or might be listeners who are intrigued and want to just get know how of what this is, of what how it's going to impact us, what is the actual effects of being sustainable versus not being sustainable. So keeping all this in mind, what we have designed is to what we are doing is we are going to launch a kind of an exhibition come event in the month of April, tentatively 19th and 20th of April in Mumbai, where we are organizing and curating an exhibition to bring brands and companies from different industries under one roof to exhibit their products and also talk about their passion behind their product, behind the reason why they're doing what they're doing, to any and every visitor and customer that walks in. So we're planning to do a very informal kind of a, not your regular exhibition where there are three doors on the side where it's a purchase and sale kind of a exhibition. It's more an informal casual event where There's going to be much more of talking and understanding and seeing what they're making, what products are available. And there are products from the minute you wake up. Say, for example, you go to brush your teeth, you go to eat your breakfast. From there till the time you sleep, you can live sustainably in each and every way. So that is what we're going to exhibit. We're going to exhibit all kinds of products from A to Z, to just build awareness. And the entire exhibition's vision is to get this community of sustainability together, get this community of hemp lovers, together under one roof, and to build a kind of a Indian hemp community in general. Not hemp community, but a sustainable community in general, because hemp is still one, I would say, branch of the sustainable tree. There's bamboo, we manufacture milk, fabric, aloe vera, eucalyptus, banana, rose, orange. The list just goes on. So hemp is definitely the strongest branch, I would say, of the tree right now. So that is going to be one of our main focuses amongst other uh, brands. So that is something that we're doing in April. And hopefully we're going to have it in association with the art of living, because like I mentioned in the start of our talk, the sustainability and spirituality go hand in hand. So both of us feel that this is a great opportunity to spread the word of sustainable living, out in the world, starting from Mumbai and then eventually going global with all the Indian exhibitors and promoting our Indian brands globally.
Wow, so this truly highlights how genuinely passionate you are towards sustainability.
It's all in me. It's like I'm so passionate. I'm driving the MG ZS EV. So I'm trying to. So that's what I'm saying. Like, sustainability cannot be like तुम सिर्फ sustainable कपड़ा बनाते हो लेकिन plastic में बेचते हो. आपका invoice is coming on the normal paper. You have to, not only your company should be sustainable, but the person behind the company should also live in a way sustainably. That entire package then makes sense. Otherwise, you're just doing it for, like we mentioned, profit. Just because you saw money in it, you got into it, and that's about it. Otherwise, you're just driving on the road, throwing garbage here and there, burning fuel, and XYZ. There's so
Yeah,
many
I
things.
mean, kind of being an hypocrite in a way.
Correct, kind of being a hypocrite in a way.
So that
So
actually leads
that
us to our next question, which is, what are the values and cultures that drive your company? But before you answer that question, since we are talking about this exhibition you're planning somewhere mid of April or towards the end of April, this podcast would be released sometime, I think mid Jan or so. So maybe if you've got your plans and roadmaps planned by that time, we can use this as an announcement for that exhibition.
no, we could do that, but right now I would be, as they say, jumping the gun if I would be making any announcements on record right now. Because see, it's a pilot project of mine. It's something very close to my heart. It's going to
Right.
be bootstrapped by me, and it's something that I don't have any experience in organizing an event. It's just something that I want to do because I have a lot of brands I supply to that also are not getting. They have great products, no doubt, but they're not getting the audience they deserve. They're not getting the channels to voice out what they're doing the way I feel they should. So this is my one way of, of bringing those people into, this one roof, and by inviting a lot of people interested in sustainable living to just understand and know that there are other options other than what you're currently, the way you're currently living. For
So one
example,
thing,
we also converted.
yeah, so one thing I've learned is that if our heart is in the right place, we have the grit required to get work done. So even if it would be the first time you're doing it, I'm sure you'll get it done.
Correct. Yeah, and with your support to 100%, because Yan Bazar is going to definitely be a part of this. So with your support, to anything is possible.
So let's come back to that question. So what are the main values and cultures that drive your company?
Main values and cultures. It's, see, basically what I feel Weaving Vibes is built on only two things. The first main pillar that we're built on is innovation. That is the reason the company, you know, kind of got was born, is because we wanted to create something new in sustainability. Want to give, and all the time we want to, the main idea is behind not only developing new fabrics but new processes on fabrics. By processes I mean we do, even wrinkle free 100% hemp fabric. We do water repellent hemp fabric. We do stain repellent hemp fabric. We do fire retardant hemp fabric. So there are a lot of processes we are doing which have a lot of different applications. So it's just that the whole idea, the whole culture behind weaving vibes is, one is innovation, and second is transparency. Is that we are completely transparent with our customers in terms of timeline, in terms of pricing, in terms of quantity they'll receive, in terms of everything. And we literally give them weekly updates about their products, what stage it is in, when it will reach them, how it will reach them. So I believe in textiles, especially when you're dealing in high volumes, trust is a very strong factor, very very strong factor. So trust can only be built when every communication and everything is transparent. So that's why innovation and transparency is what we actually aim on, is what we believe is embedded in weaving vibes, and is how weaving vibes is going to go ahead in the futures with basically these two culturally integrated principles.
And Shripat, what is the most important thing you have learned in your life, and how has that changed you as a person?
The most important thing I've learned in my life is what I was telling you about prescriptions.
Okay.
Is that I've learned that you need prescriptions for mechanical things only. Like say you want to learn how to ride a bike, you need to know how to. You want to learn how to drive a car, then you need, a prescription of, how to change the gear, how to look in the rear view mirror. But if you want to drive the car the fastest on a racetrack, no one's going to tell you how to do that. If you want to ride the bike the fastest and the longest, there's no prescription for that. You're understanding? There's no
Hmm.
one, like tomorrow you want to be the greatest at what you're doing. there's there's no way someone can tell you that you do XYZ. You wake up at 5 in the morning, you read 10 books a week, and you do this, then you will be greater. You will be the greatest. That's what I mean by prescriptions. And when people tell you what to do and how to do it, for example, Warren Buffett, or Usain Bolt. The minute Usain Bolt ran and finished it in whatever seconds he did, the fastest run he did, the minute, if that time you go and put him against the wall and be like, Usain, how did you do this? He has no idea. He doesn't know how he did it. So most of the greatest things I feel we do or we make in life, we don't know how we do it. We just do it. But then at that moment, after half an hour, Usain Bolt will sit and will highlight his life. Ki, oh, I ate this food, I lived like this, I did like this. Hence, I could run this fast. And that's what's given to us, to Pratik, me, and everyone. And then we see, oh, if we eat like Usain Bolt, if we wake up like him, if we live like him, we will also run fast one day. And our entire life goes in living those prescriptions. But I believe, and that's what I've learned in life, is that you can read books about people how they made their $1 billion, but you can't lead the same life they led to get those $1 billion. You have to find your own way to get over there. So that's basically the thing that I learned in life, is that don't follow prescriptions. Just do what you want, because everyone has their own way to do something. You cannot do it the same way they did it, or they feel cause they did it you should do it, and then only you will get what they got. You getting my point?
I think it's very, very deep, yet it's a very strong thought. So yes, I think it's a great learning you've shared with us, and because I think this
100%,
is one
because even
single
if you
thought
see,
which is so
and
powerful, it can probably change your outlook towards your life, with respect to the different advices you get and how to react upon them.
it is something like people look up to Elon Musk today. Elon Musk himself said that if I had to live the last 20 years of my life again from today, and if I followed the same things I did in the last 20 years today, I'll fail, because
Hmm.
the times have changed today. Today, what I'll do for the next 20 years, I cannot do what old Elon did for the last 20 years. So when he himself says that I cannot follow what I did, that should make you understand that you don't need to follow no one. You just follow what you feel is right for you. And as long as you are happy with yourself, that's that's how you're going to lead to your goal. So that's what I meant by prescriptions, is that we shouldn't get too inspired by people and kind of that, like, there's a 5 a.m. club. That 5 a.m. club says, you boss, you wake up at 5 o'clock and this, that you're going to beat everyone else and XYZ. But not everyone who wakes up at 5 a.m. is going to be that billionaire. And then when they look back at life, they'll be like, I thought did it. I thought followed the prescription. I said what they said, wake up at 5, eat like this and do this, but I'm not a billionaire. Because that's not how it works. That's what they tell you how it works. It's all kind of a bunch of lies. They tell you life is like this. You have to do this, then you'll get that. But that worked for one guy. That doesn't work for everyone. That is the thing that changed my life. That idea that prescriptions are not to be followed. That's it.
Naval bhai.
Hmm. This was Gaurav Gupta, but yeah, with
Acha.
he was the
And
one
my
who said this.
and my last question to you, advice for young generation or young entrepreneurs, especially people in textiles, people like you and me, when they are looking at joining their business or just otherwise.
I mean, my basic advice would be just, again, I don't want to go too deep, but just be happy in whatever you're doing. Like, just, I mean, not happy in terms of, oh, my business is doing millions and millions, hence I'm happy, because that isn't actually being happy, but just be happy with what, if you're a manufacturer, be happy with the product you're making. Get, just be, not get happy. Yeah, if you can. I mean, I don't, it sounds funny, but literally, I get happiness from every meter I make of hemp fabric. Like, literally, any blend I make, it literally gives me happiness from inside. So everything else comes secondary. So you're just a little stress free when you're working that way in the holistic manner. If you see, I mean, if whatever youngsters listening, there are basically only three things anyone wants: is great amount of wealth, is great amount of health. Everyone wants to be fit and looking great, and obviously everyone wants to be happy, right, Pratik? But
Yes.
in all of this, what happens is, if you have great amount of wealth but you don't have great health, then it really doesn't matter, does it? Because you can't enjoy that wealth. Now if you have all the wealth in the world and all the health also in the world, but you're not happy, how does it matter? What do you want to do with the wealth and the health? So that's why I say it boils down to happiness at the end of the day. As long as you're happy, it is just that. So guys, whatever you'll do, whatever business you do, wherever you do it, just that you're enjoying doing it, that should be your first reason to do it. And then secondary should be any and everything should follow after that. That is my advice, because I'm saying this to people who are not struggling. This is only for them who don't have, like, I can say this, that me and Pratik don't have to work that hard, that tomorrow dinner or lunch won't be there for us to eat. So I'm saying, when you're comfortable like that, then you work for something good, to do some good and to do something that will keep you as an individual happy. That is my advice.
People who are struggling, happiness is, I mean, if you're happy, then wouldn't matter if, you have enough wealth or not, or if you're that fit or not. I
No,
mean,
but
just to give you a
it does
context.
matter if you. I'm saying for people who are struggling, who can't get food on the table. So for them,
So,
obviously, they cannot be happy when the stomach's hungry. Like that, I'm saying that struggle. I'm not saying like basic struggle. Basic struggle, yeah. But
yeah,
I'm saying like heavy struggle.
I get your point. So, Shripat, thanks a lot. I think it's been a wonderful talk, and especially the last two, discussions, extremely thoughtful. But before we close, there's a small rapid fire round I would like to do if you're comfortable with that and if you're okay with that.
Yeah. Yes, yes, yes.
So, bamboo or hemp?
Hemp,
Okay. Power looms or rapiers?
rapiers,
Shoes or watches?
shoes
Okay. If you could fill in the blank, textile industry is dash.
is magical. That's what I was saying.
Nice. What advice would you give your younger self?
That you should have thought of leaving the business earlier.
Okay. Industry leader or business person you admire the most and why?
Industry leader. I would say in our industry.
Up to you, or maybe another business person you admire the most and why?
I mean, I definitely admire Elon Musk only and only for the reason is he does what he wants. And he does it in a way that no one believes in him. And after he does it, everyone's like, this was the right thing to do. This is what we needed. This is perfect. And whatever failures he's had, it's been like, like a it's I mean, I can't remember the 3 to 4 failures that he had, and the way he took them was really well. And that's what I really admire also about him is not only the success, but the way he handles every failure that comes by him. It's very strong and it's very mature and it's very sensible. So that's why Elon Musk, for sure.
And what will be the first thing you will do if you became the textile minister of India for one day?
If I became the textile minister for if I became the textile minister for one day, I would pass a rule that can't be changed by any other textile minister ever. And that rule would be that if anyone even asks for credit, they will be jailed for life. Direct jail for life. There's no 2 ways, no bail, nothing. You mentioned that you want on credit in any sector, from farming all the way to fashion, you'll be jailed for life.
So wait,
Forget this credit business. Yeah, it's a third-degree criminal offense.
okay, so I'm glad we're ending the podcast with a nice, happy, and positive note. Thanks so much.
आशा करते हैं कि आपको ये एपिसोड पसंद आया। हमें कमेंट या ईमेल करके बताइए आप कौन से टेक्स्ट विनर्स को आने वाले एपिसोड में सुनना चाहेंगे। डू शेयर द पॉडकास्ट विथ एवरीवन आउट देयर। आप हमारे पॉडकास्ट टेक्स्ट विनर स्टोरीज अभी स्पॉटिफाई, गूगल पॉडकास्ट, यूट्यूब और अन्य प्लेटफॉर्म पर भी सुन सकते हैं। तो जल्द ही मिलेंगे एक और नए एपिसोड के साथ, एक नए टेक्स्ट विनर के साथ और एक नई स्टोरी के साथ। तब तक के लिए स्टे ट्यून्ड, टेक केयर एंड थैंक यू।